Okay, so this is the first section on conduction. We've already talked about what conduction is. We have a pretty good example of a cast iron pan frying the egg. The proteins in this egg are being cooked by the heat from the burner, which is touching, let's say you didn't have a gas stove. It is touching the burner. The burner is heating the pan. The pan is directly heating the egg. This is conduction between multiple materials, burner to pan, pan to egg. And you make yourself a delicious eggums. So 4 basic principles of conduction we're going to cover. One is temperature difference. So when 2 objects are touching each other, they will transfer heat faster the larger the difference is between the materials. So if we had 2 blocks of metal touching, and one block of metal was 400 degrees and one was 50 degrees, the warm block, the hotter block, will transfer heat into the cooler block faster than if one block was at 100 degrees and one was at 98 degrees. They would still eventually reach equilibrium. They're trying to get to equilibrium, basically. But the bigger the temperature difference, the faster the heat is transferred. When we talk about thermal conductivity and why it matters to a clinician, thermal conductivity is the rate at which heat transfers via conduction. So when we looked at that chart earlier, thermal conductivity, which we've already covered, is the rate of heat transfer via conduction or physical touch. This matters to the clinician because materials with high rates of thermal conductivity, we must be aware that they will transfer heat faster than other materials. So in a very basic example, if I put a hot pack on a person's skin and they're wearing a wedding ring, the heat is transferring through the skin at a certain rate because of the thermal conductivity of the skin. But the ring has a much higher thermal conductivity, and that heat will get centralized, and it will start to put a lot of heat in a small space, and you run the risk of tissue damage. What is actually happening usually is, your blood, your circulatory system is acting like a radiator. And as you heat areas and blood is flowing out of those areas, it's taking the warm blood with it. Cooler blood is coming in. This is actually convection, which we talked about earlier. But it's important to understand why thermal conductivity is important, because you need to know what materials cause high rates of transfer of heat and which materials do not. Materials that do not are called insulators. Now that we've covered thermal conductivity, we're going to look at moderate conductivity. Moderate conductivity is exactly what it sounds like. We use materials that conduct heat via touch in the middle range. There's lots of reasons for this. We do not want to use materials with high conductivity because we could pass too much heat into the system, cause tissue damage or pain, discomfort. If we use something that has extremely low conductivity, we might not ever get the tissue to the temperature we want, and we're basically wasting our time. And a lot of therapy is time-based. You have so much time to treat. So a lot of the modalities we use that are conductive, we're going to use moderate conductive materials, which is just a safety measure. Finally, we have insulators. Insulators are low thermal conductive materials that we place in between our physical agents that pass energy by conduction. So we're going to use the example of a hot pack. That hot pack is at let's say it's at a very high temperature, let's say 165 degrees, and human body temperature we're going to say is 98 degrees. That is going to want to pass heat energy into the body. And even though it is a moderate conductor, it has a lot of heat in it. So we put insulators in between the hot pack and the skin, and that slows the rate of heat transfer down. And it allows us to observe the patient, make sure we're not burning them, especially when you get into the clinic. You're going to start realizing some people don't feel pain the same way other people do. Some people will have nerve conditions that cause them not to feel pain. People with Parkinson's are notorious for not feeling pain the same way. You also have the risk of people with poor mentation, someone might not be able to tell you they're feeling pain. And this is a very safe way to not burn someone's skin, not damage tissue, and maintain rapport with your patient.